Hi, everybody, live from Poca in Jamaica. Welcome to season 2, episode 1 of PocaTV Live. My very special guest this first episode of the new season is molecular biologist Tarek Msadek. So strap in, here we go.
Give me this. Give me that. Give me this. Give me that. Give me that.
So, hi again, everybody. Welcome to this new episode. I can hardly wait to start it properly. As you can tell, I'm still in Jamaica. Yes, for another month, to be honest. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Poca or Aldith. Poca stands for People of Common Attitude. And what I do in this monthly program is talk to my fabulous friends all across the globe who do stuff that, you and I need, that you and I need to thrive on, and, that you and I can depend on for them to do it and to make our lives a little bit better. Yes, I will be meeting up after many, many years with my old chum from the years I used to live in Tunisia. His name is Tarek Msadek. He was my friend in school then, and he's gone on to be somebody really big. To be honest, he works at the Institut Pasteur in Paris, in France, and I'll be taking you through his life, and he'll be telling us what it is he does these days. And we'll look at, current events, and of course, we'll touch on his hobbies too, because he's got quite a few of them. But for regular people, for everybody who knows what this show is about, you know that I always dedicate these programs to my sister Aisha, who left this earth in 2011, and she's still sorely missed. She's the one who came up with the idea for PocaTV Live, and she would have been tickled pink to know that I'm not even doing this in the Netherlands. I'm doing it in Jamaica as well. And to be honest, I can do these live programs anywhere where I have a decent internet connection. This picture of Aisha is from the years that she was in boarding school in England. My family traveled a lot, and at a certain point, it was getting too hard for her to switch schools every time. So she went to boarding school in the south of England, in Littlehampton. And as you can tell, she's wearing this preppy little uniform, and she never lost the love of preppy clothes. She must have been about, 11, 12-ish at this age. And during her school holidays, she used to come to me in the Netherlands, and we'd have a good old time, going places where my parents didn't necessarily know I was taking her, but we always took care of each other and had a great ball. So, yet again, another of these episodes completely dedicated to Aisha, never forgotten. Shout out to my regulars. Hi, everybody. I know some of you are watching already. I can even tell there are some comments coming in. Here is Donna Mattes, right here in Jamaica. Why am I not showing? Yes, there she is, saying Hotep Poca, Hotep Donna, how are you today? She says, I look fabulous, my Jamaican sister. Jamaica lives. Yes, it does. And I live more when I'm here, which is probably why I think I look good today. Thank you for that, Donna. Here's DJ Conscious, who a year ago was my very, very first guest in season 1, episode 1 of PocaTV Live. We talked about his switch from the UK to Jamaica, where he lives now, and where he still does his weekly programs on consciousradio.net, reggae, dub, and all things Rastafari. Pass by. It's completely free. Check it out once in a while. This upcoming Sunday, why not? Just go to consciousradio.net or look for Conscious Radio on Facebook and on Twitter, and you will find him. So, hi, DJ. Thank you for watching. Here is my big sister, Adrienne. I was just touching on your life with my guest when we were both in the orange room, Adrienne, and had to remind him a little bit about your place in our sibling line, but he now knows. So thank you for watching again. Always good to see you in the comment section and even when I'm here. Here is my mother's old neighbor, Berry. Hi, Berry. Nice of you to watch. She says bello, Aldith. I'm sure she means hello. And nice of you to watch, Berry. Stick around because my guest is extremely, extremely interesting, if I do say so myself. So that was my regulars and people watching the rerun. Make sure you're as welcome as anybody else. Let me say it again. This is season 2, episode 1. Leave us a comment, even if you're not watching live. I really love seeing your comments. Special guest Tarek Msadek, if you missed the opening. He's a molecular biologist working at the Pasteur Institute in Paris. And while I'm here begging for something, why not subscribe to my YouTube channel, PocaTV, or follow the page on Facebook? You know, because it's all about clout. It's all about having many views. And if I'm ever going to make any money, instead of paying money to bring you this on a monthly basis, I really need some people following. And I do need a lot of comments. So you know what to do. Let's have a look here. Yes, another regular thing going on in this program. I always look back on the last program I did. Now, 2 weeks ago, many of you might have missed it because, as you know, this is only once in a month on the last Friday of every month. But 2 weeks ago, I had to do a reprise because the show in October had to be canceled due to unforeseen technical matters. So we did the rerun 2 weeks ago, and that was with 28Jan2K22. And Annemieke, who's had quite a happening life herself, despite her physical disabilities, she still rides almost on a yearly basis. She rides her bike in Austin, Texas, with the Live Strong community. Live Strong being the what shall we say, the charity program made by cyclist Lance Armstrong, the man who won, I think, 7 Tour de France's. And Annemieke does that cycling every year, and she does that in honor of people who are battling cancer or who have died of cancer. And she's, for the past 11 years, she has always included Aisha when she was riding. And I was telling her in the 2 weeks ago how much that means to me as a sibling to somebody who has died from cancer, to know that she's being kept alive by people outside of the family. And I told her that must be quite a hard thing to do. And then, being modest as she is, Annemieke set me straight. So this is what she sounded like 2 weeks ago.
To me, it's such a small thing to do.
I
mean, I honor Aisha because she was a beautiful person and we lost her way too soon. Mm-hmm. And we have many, I lost my uncle, I lost my niece, I lost many people. But other people who come to when we had stands at events, people could fill out those cards for people they cared for. And we took that with us and we hang them on the honor wall. And Aisha is always in my heart. Whenever I do a Live Strong event, she's always there. I will never forget to put her name down.
Now, isn't that totally sweet? Thank you again, Annemieke, for being such a loyal friend to Aisha. And thank you for all the trouble you went through to go twice on this program. I know you'll be watching at some point today. So welcome back to the program. And thank you again for being my guest 2 weeks ago. So that's the start of the program done. It's time for me to introduce to you today's guest. He's joining us from Paris in France. And as I said, we met when we were both in our teens, and that was in Tunisia. Everybody, hands up. Yay. Here is Tarek Msadek. Tarek, how are you?
I'm doing great. Just a little bit embarrassed by your introduction, but yeah.
You know, in my line of work, you have to really accentuate stuff, Tarek. Otherwise, people don't believe you.
Okay.
And I know you're a humble person, so let me do the non-humble thing,
Okay.
and you be yourself. and we'll try to get through your life in an orderly fashion and see where we get. So, where are you currently sitting? Just tell us where you are. What are we seeing?
I'm at my dining room table in my combination dining room living room.
Hmm. In
So
Paris?
in Paris, yeah, Paris
Yes.
16th, yeah.
What part of Paris do you live?
So the west, southwest,
Southwest.
yeah.
Hmm.
Uh,
Is that a nice? What's near there for the people who know Paris from touristy stuff?
well, in that same uh, what do we call it?
Arrondissement.
Arrondissement or borough,
Hmm.
whatever. We have the Eiffel Tower. We're not far from the Montparnasse Tower, and we have the
Hmm.
Pasteur Institute. So I live here because it's practical to go to work. Yeah,
Really? So
yeah.
you walk to work? Do you?
I can walk to work. Yeah, it's about
Mm.
half hour walk. Yeah,
Oh, so you
yeah.
don't walk to work every
I
day?
do. Well, sometimes it depends on
Mm.
the timing. Yeah, yeah.
Right, right,
Otherwise, I take a bus.
right. So you live kind of upscale Paris, Tarek? Is it fair to say?
Eh, Yeah, it's not the yeah.
It's not the
It's a nice.
shabby part.
It's not a shabby part. It's a residential area, so it's
Hmm.
nice. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And do you live in one of those immeubles, as we those apartment buildings that we know from
Yeah,
Paris?
Haussmannian, they call him. Haussmann was because he was a baron that redesigned Paris and architect. So yeah, one of those old buildings. Yeah, yeah, the
Yeah, with the lovely gable,
1917, I think, was
mm,
built. Yeah, yeah.
white on the outside, little frilly things on the outside, I expect.
Sculptures and everything. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
But it's
right.
also a strange one because it's one of the flattest buildings in Paris because right behind us we have an old railway that goes around the city that's
Hmm.
not in use anymore. People use it for jogging and everything, but it's up on a platform, elevated platform, and so the building is sort of sliced flat against this railway. So
Right.
it's known as one of the flattest buildings in Paris.
So your living room is 20 meters long and 2 meters wide,
Something like that.
something like that. Yeah. Trust Paris to make things complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how's the weather in France? Because I'm looking outside here in Jamaica and it's a lovely day. I wonder how is it there?
We had sunshine, but it's cold. Today was better than usual, so it's about 6 or 7 degrees.
Okay,
So,
that's all right.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And you're working from home these days, or are you
Uh,
back
I
at
was
the
in the
office?
lab yesterday, but today I'm working from home. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why you're able to do this. Thank you for setting up things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here we go. Are you ready for this? We're going to start in your early childhood and move forward. Let's start at the very beginning. 1961, a lovely baby was born. Uh, no, really, you are too cute.
Yeah.
What kind of baby were you?
Well, from what my mom told me, I was a fairly easy baby. Not
Not
the
a
type that
crybaby.
not a crybaby. No, no.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
So where were you born? Because I know you have this
I
international
was
background like
born.
mine.
I was actually born in Harlem, Manhattan, New York,
Mhm.
because my parents were my dad was on a Tunisian fellowship, which wasn't a lot of money, and
Mhm.
he was going to Columbia University, which is right near Harlem.
Yeah.
And my mom had come over from Vancouver also to study,
Mhm.
and so since they didn't have a lot of money, they lived in Harlem where the rent was cheap. Yeah.
Yeah. So that means you got yourself an American citizenship, right from the.
Yes, yes. In fact, when
Mm.
I was born, because my mom was Canadian and my father Tunisian, I had three passports at birth. Yeah.
Wow. Do you
Uh,
still have all three?
yes, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, as a Dutch citizen, I'm not even allowed to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a strange rule that they put into place,
Oh.
probably to shun to keep Moroccan Dutch people from voting or something.
Oh.
Let's not even get into that.
Well, my kids have French on top of that.
They do,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So that's
they have all of mine plus French. Yeah.
right. We'll get to your kids in a while. So this is you again, 3 years old, looking smart already, Tarek.
Well, looks can be deceiving.
You are not going to downplay everything I say about you, because if you are, we're just going to stop this program.
Okay, okay.
All right. So that's mom and dad I see on the right,
That's right. And
and that's your sister Layla. I would think.
exactly. Very good.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's you 65. That makes you 4. How old was Layla at the time?
She was 2.
2, right? And your parents happily together. Where was this?
That's in Harlem in New York. Yeah.
That's still in New York. So how
Yeah.
long did you live there?
Until the following year in 1966, we moved to Tunisia.
You moved back to Tunisia. Well, not back
Well,
to, in your case, you moved
yeah.
to Tunisia. Yeah. So this is 65 still. You and Leila having a good time.
Yeah,
Were you,
my father would rent a little country place on a lake for the weekends, and we'd go out there and do fishing and stuff. Yeah.
Did you love the water?
I like water very much. I like to dive. I like to. Yeah, I prefer uh, the sea and everything than mountains.
Oh, really? I'm the
Yeah.
opposite.
Yeah.
I like mountains and waterfalls and fresh water. I really don't like the sea much.
Okay.
I'm kind of scared of the sea, I guess. I once drowned almost. So
Oh. Okay.
that was in Greece. I'll never go back to Greece. That was a horrific experience. So you and Leila, were you good friends?
Very close. She was always my sort of supporting me in all the bad things I would do, and keeping it from the parents and all that type of thing. So yeah.
That's what sisters do. Brothers don't, to be honest. Did you do the
Well,
same for her?
I did the same. Yeah. We're
You
very
did?
close. Yeah.
Okay. And you still are, I expect?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Where is she these days?
She lives in Vancouver, British Columbia, in Canada.
In Canada. Right. I'm going to surprise myself with what comes next. This is you back in Tunisia from the years I'm seeing you.
Yes, the first one was still in the U.S. and then the other 2 in Tunisia. Exactly.
Yeah. So what were you thinking on the leftmost picture? What were you playing at?
The leftmost picture, I think that's Halloween or something, disguised as a king of some sort. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't remember?
I don't remember that particular costume. In fact, I just came across it the other day when I was looking up pictures for you. So no.
But is it something that you wanted at that age to be the king?
No. It was some. I don't know. Just dressing up. I get dressed up quite a bit. Yeah.
You still do, but we'll definitely get into that. You still do, Tarek. Yeah. So, in the middle, that must be some kind of talent show. What are
No,
you
so
doing
that
there?
in the middle actually. So to my right is a neighborhood friend named Habiba, who I had my first crush on.
The girl with the vase in the hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this was the Tunisian, what do you call it? Like a kindergarten before going into
Yes,
school.
kindergarten. Yes.
So they had a little show at the end of the year where we all got dressed up in traditional costumes and whatever. So that was it. Yeah. She unfortunately passed away a couple of years ago through an accident, but I just been back in touch with her. So she's a really nice person. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. It's so sad. People go too quickly, don't they, Tarek? Yeah. You're holding on to what is it? A mandolin?
It's it's a Tunisian type of guitar. It's called a oud. It's a lute. What they play in the Middle East. Yeah.
Exactly. Do you actually play that or
no? This was just for show.
because it's all right. It's all right. You don't need to be embarrassed. I my whole life is for show, but it goes to show that you're a musical person as well, because we'll definitely be touching on the musical side of you. First up, though, the picture on the right, 1968. I'm seeing this serious little boy.
Well, that's one of those school ID photos that you take in the booth. So I guess I look kind of serious. I can look serious when I have to.
Yeah, because that is something I remember of you. You had this zany side, which you still have, but you were very serious.
Yeah, completely schizophrenic. Yeah.
Yeah, and I could relate to that being almost the same. So we did get along quite famously, and I believe, which we will touch on later. Here's another picture. That's you with a second sister.
Yes.
Tell us about her. Yeah. She passed on as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
My younger sister. Difficult. So Kins, yes, she was born in 67. And
Say her name again. Sorry.
Kins,
Kins. Yes.
Kinz,
Mm-hmm.
which means treasure in Arabic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so this is a picture where we were in Italy. It was our first trip to a different country. We were in Genoa. Um I think I put on my shades to look kind of like a mafioso or something. And so we were exploring the city and visiting. They have because Christopher Columbus was from there, and we were visiting all kinds of things. And we really liked Italy a lot. So that was our first family trip abroad. Yeah.
Yeah. And when did you lose her?
2006. Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you're going through right now because I choke up with Aisha all the time, and that's another thing that you and I have in common. 2006. It doesn't get any easier, actually, does it?
No.
No. I always sorry about this. Have a drink of water. Just let's try to hold it back.
Yeah.
But I know that it it can get to you at the craziest moments, and then suddenly you find yourself choking up. I'm sorry you had to lose her. Yeah.
Yes. Well, I wasn't I wasn't expecting that. It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I always say tears are the cleaners of the heart. So just let them flow. You want me to move on? Let's
Do
move
your
on.
thing.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I have no idea what comes next. I think it's. Oh yes, this is when you and I met. This was in Tunisia.
Yes.
1976 is when I arrived from Brazil. I spoke not a word of French, and we both went to the Lycée Français de Mutuelleville, the French school in Tunis, one of the two French schools. And I didn't quite know what to do with myself. And you were not in my class, but in a parallel class.
That's right.
But we had English together, and maybe one or two other subjects. Do you remember?
I don't really remember, but I think we did a couple of things together. Yeah.
We did, and you actually helped me learn French. Did you ever realize that?
I probably started with all the bad words, swear words, and everything, but yeah, something like that. Yeah.
You taught me how to keep the boys away.
Yes.
That's probably the first thing you taught me. Yeah. But that was invaluable to me because I wasn't quite used to being, a student who didn't know what the hell was going on in class, and that was my situation because I didn't speak the language. And you speaking English really, really helped out. So we
I had gone through that in a couple of years earlier because coming from New York, I was first in a Tunisian kindergarten, and I didn't understand a word. And then they put me in the French school, and I still didn't understand a word. So I'd been through it, yeah.
Right, and I believe before you went to this school that we shared, you even went to the American school in Tunisia.
I went to the American school for 1 year, but at the time it was run just by like wives and of the diplomats, everything, and so it didn't go far enough level wise to pursue it, although it does now. So at the time it was, I think they stopped at grade 8 or something, and so
they did. I remember because Aisha, my sister, she went to that same school, and they did stop at 8 at the time.
So I think I just did the first grade, and then my parents thought it would be better to go into something with a longer.
And to be honest, French school is top notch level, isn't it?
It is quite good. Yeah.
And you were in the class with the cracks. You were with the with the science people and the maths people, and I believe you were every teacher's pet. Do you remember?
Actually, I was. It depends on the years. I think the next in 1977, I started being a little bratty in school. Yeah. So
a little what?
Bad boy.
Bad boy. Yeah. How did that manifest?
I don't know. I'd be creating trouble in the classroom, being noisy or talking back to the teachers, or that type of thing.
But you were probably bored out of your mind in school. Because I remember you.
I think the thing was I'm not very I don't appreciate discipline and rules so much. So
Mm,
when there's rules and too much discipline and you can't do this, you can't do that, then I tend to rebel against it. So it was
mm.
more of a rebellious thing. Yeah, yeah.
You still have that?
I do. Yeah,
Did that
yeah.
make your life easy or hard?
Well, I stayed out of like going into military service or anything because I knew that that wasn't going to work out. So
Well, it takes one to know one. I think we have similar lives in that respect. I do think that when rules are, um, what's the word I'm looking for? If they're logical, I can follow them. But I don't take I
yeah,
don't take to people telling me I have to do something and they don't give me a reason.
right, right.
Okay, so I remember you, like I said, as this very clever person, and you seem to breeze through school. Was that your own opinion of yourself at the time?
I didn't work much, I have to say. So
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't very big on doing homework and stuff. But yeah,
Mm-mm.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
that's
That's
our
the
old
school.
school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah, they completely knocked that down now, and it's become like a horrible bunker now.
Has it?
Yeah, it's like a 6 foot concrete wall hiding all the view and everything. Yeah,
Yeah. I always thought it was before it became a school that it was some sort of factory. I don't know why, because there were these tubes going outside. I don't. It
Yeah, but that was, I think that was part of technological workshops that they had for
yeah.
professional training. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think before it, in the beginning, it was housing for French members of an insurance thing. That's why it's called Mutuelle Ville. It's the Mutuelle.
Yes.
Yeah,
Meaning mutual, being this insurance thing. Let's help
yeah,
each
yeah,
other kind of thing.
yeah, something like that. Yeah,
There you go. I never knew that.
mm,
And that's you encircled there in the parallel class, as I was saying.
that's right.
Um, I remember a lot of faces. I'm seeing Esma,
Yes,
and
I still see her regularly.
oh, please give her my love. I used
Yeah.
to love Esma, and we were kind of friendly as well. I don't remember many names, but I do remember a lot of faces. Was that was a rowdy class though, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is when I
Yeah,
started getting rowdy. Yeah.
yeah. But do you have fond memories of that time?
Oh, very fun. In fact, I'm still very close friends with almost all the people I used to hang out with back then. Yeah, I see them all the
Great.
time. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
wonderful. You say hi to everybody if they remember me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here we were being teenagers. Spanish. We used to do Spanish together as well. If I
Mm,
did you do Spanish? No, you didn't.
I didn't think we did. No, I think
Whatever.
it was just the English, but it's just that uh, we became friends, so we would hang out a lot together and go to
Exactly.
and
During
parties and
breaks
stuff.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
parties. Oh, those afternoon parties we used to do. At the,
Yeah.
yeah, I remember them all. I remember them all. And all of a sudden one day, you weren't in school, and we heard later that you'd gone to Canada.
Yes. Well,
Do you care to elaborate on that, or?
yeah, no problem.
Mm,
It just so happened at the end of '77, um, my mother decided that she had to get divorced
mhm,
from my dad for, well, various reasons. But uh, so she basically she knew that because at the time the women didn't have a lot of legal rights in Tunisia, and also my dad was a very powerful figure back there.
mhm,
So she was worried that if she stayed, that she wouldn't have any custody or any contact with us. So
mhm.
she just matter of factly asked us one morning at, I think, 6 a.m. She woke us up and said, "At 2 o'clock, I'm going on a plane to Canada. You can come with me or you can stay. It's up to you."
Yeah. But
So,
I even seem to remember, but correct me if I'm wrong, I seem to remember you were in school in the morning
exactly.
and then went home for lunch, which is what we did, and then in the afternoon you didn't
Exactly.
return. Is that how
Yeah,
it went?
that's exactly that. And in fact, so I went to school knowing that I wasn't going to see all my friends anymore,
Oh my gosh.
but not telling anybody because we couldn't say anything because she was afraid he would
Yeah.
block us leaving the country or whatever. So
That must
yeah,
have been a
so
horrible day for you though.
it was weird. It was mostly looking at your room and your all your belongings and going like, what do I take? What do I leave?
Mhm.
And thinking you're never going to come back and whatever. So it was. I think it was after that once I got to Canada that it was like a more painful experience because in one swift blow, you like losing contact with all your friends and stuff you grew up with and all that. So yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah. And I mean, moving away from your dad, whatever the circumstances, must have been hard still.
Yeah, well, we got back in touch after a while. We had
Yeah.
a couple of years, difficult years, but after a while we got back in touch, and then I went back to Tunisia a couple of years later. Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, are your parents still around?
No, unfortunately, they both didn't could come to terms with the disappearance of my sister, and so my mom passed away 4 years after, and then my dad another 4 years after that or so.
Yeah. What a story to tell. What did you pack that morning when your mom said, "Are you getting on the plane with me?" What did you pack? Because it must have been one little bag.
No, I took at the time you could travel with a lot of stuff, so I had one of those hiker backpacks with which I stuffed with books and comics and I don't know, clothes,
Music.
records. Yeah, records at the back. At that time, we had all. It was all
Vinyl.
vinyl
Yeah.
records. Yeah. So we had a lot of those too. But those were heavy to carry around. So yeah.
They were, and you couldn't just drop your bag anywhere, could you? Because they'd break.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I still have some of those right behind me over here. See.
Yeah.
Some of the ones from Tunisia, I still have.
Okay, there's one we'll be talking about later because it played a role in many different things, and then suddenly it seemed kind of very actual. So we'll touch on that later.
I have a feeling I know which one.
I of course you do. Quick look in the comment section. Let's see who's there. So everybody's saying hi. Yeah, everybody's still saying hi. Hi, everybody. Appreciate you being with us here. We are going to then. This is you. We talked about you in your early years, and we will be touching on your career in a bit. But Tarek Msadek, there is a section in this program in which I kind of like to make life hard for my guests. It's called On the Spot. 5 quick questions. I will fire them at you. You are not allowed to elaborate. You have to choose between the choices I give you. And at the end of the whole round, I'll give you the chance to elaborate on 1, maybe 2 of them. Are you ready for this? Can you answer me without elaborating? That's
Absolutely.
the question. All right.
I can even do yes or no.
You can? Okay, we'll find out soon. Let's start easy peasy. Winter or summer?
Summer.
France or Tunisia?
That's a tough one.
No elaboration.
Okay, Tunisia.
Tunisia.
Yeah.
Wow. Question number 3. A life without science or a life without the arts?
To me, a life without science.
You chuck away your whole career to be in the arts, is what you're saying. Okay, don't elaborate. Question number 4. COVID-19 proves that humanity is lost. Yes or no?
No.
No? Okay. No. And the last question, what is it, Tarek, that you would never, ever, ever, ever do again?
I have no regrets on anything, so I don't have anything.
No, you must choose. You must come up with an answer. The one thing you would never do again.
That's a tough one. I really, what can I say? Get married?
I speak not. It is time for you to choose which of these 5 questions you would like to elaborate on. I know which one I want to talk about, but it's not my program, it's yours.
Well, let me run them through me again. The first
Winter
one was
or summer, France or Tunisia, science or arts. COVID means humanity is lost, and never get married again.
I'll go with winter, summer, and what was the second one again?
France or Tunisia? You're making it easy on yourself. I would have expected better from you.
No, I'm just thinking which other ones. Well, I could go with the science or arts one. Yeah.
Science and arts. So the question was a life without science or a life without the arts, and you said a life without science. So
Well, I'm what I meant by that was not in the. I wasn't thinking about what I would do. I was thinking about living in a world without science or without arts. I would prefer to live in a world with arts.
mhm.
If you could only have one of the two.
But you're a scientist.
Yeah, but science is an art, and art is a science.
Now explain that to us.
Well, I think to do anything properly, whether it be art or science, there's a little of both involved. Yeah, you have to be an artist to create stuff whether it be in science or in art, and you have to approach even art scientifically.
Are you saying that being a scientist is a creative occupation?
Oh, absolutely.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How does that
Definitely.
work? Because what? Because first we don't know a thing and then we know it. What? Why?
Well, no, you have to ask questions. You have to be curious. You have to
Mhm.
wonder about how things work. Uh, well, I think. Well, I'll give you just a quick example. For example, I think, oriented early on towards science because I think my dad was a frustrated scientist. He studied economics and finance and all that type of stuff, but I think he wanted to be a scientist, and so he took some courses in science. But when I was 4 years old in New York, he bought me a microscope,
Mhm.
but not a toy, a real microscope. Which I think he bought for him, like some dads buy a train set for the kids and then it's for them, right?
Yeah.
So I think this was actually for him. But once I learned how to use it, then I became interested in looking at everything I could lay my hands on. So I convinced my sister Layla, who was always in all these things with me, that it would be very cool to look at her eyelashes.
Mhm.
So I took a pair of scissors and I cut off all her eyelashes from both eyes,
Oh.
and then we started looking at them under the microscope, and they looked like tree trunks. They were huge blocks,
Yeah.
and it was very interesting because you could see little details that I didn't imagine were on an eyelash.
Yes. How did
What I
you respond to this fabulous
idea, yes. Well, she thought
yes,
it was cool,
she
but
did.
what we didn't realize was that first of all, an eye without eyelashes looks very, very strange.
It does.
And the second thing we didn't realize is that eyelashes take about 4 to 5 months to grow back. So when my mom came home, she took one look at my sister and said, "What's wrong with your eyes?" And then we had to tell her what we did, of course. And then, of course, I got punished. So there you go.
Yeah.
But no, it was to illustrate the point that you have to be curious about what's around you. You have to wonder about things, how things work. It's mostly about how things work.
Mhm.
Why does I don't know. A duck have webbed feet? Why does this? Why does that?
Yeah.
And then they ask questions. Then you think of how to address the question, and you imagine what we call a protocol. In other words, an experiment that will test your hypothesis, and then you
Mhm.
test it, and then you see if it agrees with what you thought or not, and then
Yeah.
you do some more in that. So it's very creative, yeah.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And the other way around, the arts being science. How does that work?
Well, I mean, all artists have to have senses of perspective and how to organize things in space, sculpture, whatever. There's all kinds of things that even if they don't realize it, they're using science unconsciously, but
Right.
it's there, yeah.
And you stick to your answer that you'd rather have that.
Well, in the
If you had
world,
to choose.
if the world, if the world had to live without science or without art, I would prefer to have the art because
Okay.
there's so much, music
Beauty.
and painting and beauty and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Right. Yeah. One more question you may elaborate on, but that not really elaborate, but slightly. Do you wish to, or do you think it's okay this way?
Well, we didn't do winter or summer, but I can skip that if you want.
You can, yeah. Yeah, you can skip. Anybody would choose. No, that's not true. Actually, I know somebody who would choose winter, but
Okay.
Mhm.
What else did we have?
We had France or Tunisia. COVID proves that humanity is lost, or what would you never do again?
well, with COVID, uh, it's humanity is not lost. Humanity has faced dozens of challenges throughout the ages,
Mm.
from the plague to Spanish flu to et cetera, that have wiped out much more people than COVID. COVID is just the only problem with it is the. I mean, well, one of the things that's revealed to me is that social media really spread uh, fake rumors like wildfire, and people since the beginning of social media, it's have become they believe what they see or hear on in videos or on social media, and they lose their common sense often, and so it
Mm.
leads to a unfortunately a sort of a generalized dumbing down of people's thinking,
Yeah.
and they tend to seize anything that seems sensational and oh my god, can you imagine Bill Gates is going to put a chip inside us and we're going to get
Hmm.
5G and I don't know what all, that type of
And
thing.
we'll stick to our fridge with our arm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, no, that type of thing. And people actually go for this stuff, and this is what I think that's most of the problem, because it's, and also the issue became politicized. In other words, these, because of social media, they seize on anything to criticize government.
Yeah.
So obviously, all the governments in the world have had trouble adapting to this crisis. And so, yes, sometimes they'll say do this, and then a week later, they'll have some new information. And they say, well, no, don't do that, do this. And so, yeah, they're you know they go left and right, and but they're trying to do their best in most cases.
In most
And
cases, yeah.
and but people sees this as an opportunity to attack the government and in
Hmm.
general, because people have lost faith in the past 10, 15 years in government in general.
But that
And
has nothing to do with the pandemic.
no,
It was in place already.
yes, it
This.
was coming, but
Mhm.
it's grown come to a head, if you like,
Yeah.
because this is something they can seize on immediately, and
Hmm.
so that leads to refusal to get vaccinated and all this other
Hmm.
stuff which
Hmm.
goes along with it.
Hmm.
When people forget that when they were children, they had all kinds of vaccinations that were even more less elaborated than the ones now, and we lost, smallpox has been eradicated, and polio and TB are
Yeah,
pretty
but they
much gone.
say they say yes, but this is a different kind of vaccination,
That's because they don't understand it, because it
right?
hasn't been well explained to them. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you a little time in a while to do a little explaining in layman's terms so that we all understand how this thing works. But first, Tarek, let's move on and let's go to the time when you started being a scientist. I got some lovely pictures of you. First, on the left, I would believe that's you still in training or what?
Yes, that's actually my master's lab course. Uh, I think the picture was posed. I think I'm just dealing with some water there, but yeah,
Hmm.
showing off.
You shouldn't, because I thought it was some sort of thing I can't even pronounce, but it's water. It's okay. It's a great picture. And on the right, we see you, well, the way I think you work now, or not. What?
Yeah, pretty much. That was an interview for biotech school. They wanted to uh, know what type of work we were doing and everything. So I
Yeah.
was explaining that. Yeah, yeah.
So I did a little background research on you based on the stuff you send me, and I know that I mean your one of your areas of expertise is the Staphylococcus aureus.
Yes.
What is it?
Oh, what is it?
Hmm.
Well, I think
It's a bacteria.
it's a bacteria.
Bacterium.
So,
Yeah.
sometimes people don't actually understand the difference in bacteria and a virus.
So tell us.
So, bacteria is the smallest autonomous form of life. In other words, it has everything it needs to uh, replicate itself, make a copy, make divide and make more of itself.
Hmm.
Whereas a virus doesn't. A virus is basically just a piece of DNA or RNA, which is almost like DNA. It's just a piece of genetic code, basically, that has to go into one of a living cell, animal cell or human cell or plant cell,
Hmm.
and then hijack all the machinery of the cell to make copies of itself.
Yes.
So
So
it's
a virus is out there. It needs a host.
yeah,
So does
it
that
needs to
mean that
invade a cell. It needs to invade a cell. Yeah,
it needs to invade a cell? So there are viruses all around that we don't know
yeah,
of,
yes,
right?
yeah.
And what
A
makes
lot
one?
of them, but a lot of them infect only bacteria. For example, there are viruses that attack only bacteria.
Hmm.
A lot of them attack plants and destroy crops, as a tobacco virus, which is well known.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, there's all kinds of viruses in animals and everything. And the risk is when they change by mutations, because mutations occur spontaneously,
Hmm.
and then they can attack a different host and then come to humans, for example. And that's the case
So
we have right now.
what makes a virus choose which host
It
to go
doesn't
live in?
actually choose. It's
It
just
doesn't.
no, no, they're not. We can't. We say anthropomorphize viruses or bacteria. No, there are mutations that happen randomly, and it's what you call natural selection. In other words, if one of the mutations makes it so that virus can't invade a host anymore, well, that virus is going to die, and you'll never see it again.
Hmm.
Okay, but if the mutation makes it so that it can more easily infect certain types of cells or hosts, then it will develop further, and
Yeah.
that's how things move on.
So
So
forgive me for carrying on about viruses, but we're in the middle of the thing. We we now have the SARS-CoV-2 virus that's taken over humanity. Let me put it in these terms. So now that it is in human beings, how does it? When do we know? When will we know if it's dead? And
well,
what will kill it?
what will kill it would be that if everyone has immunity against it, that would that prevent it from developing. But since it changes rapidly, like any virus or any living organism, like the flu changes every all the time, it's difficult to seize and stop it right away. The thing that happened in this case is that because it's highly contagious, there was a rush to bring out a vaccine quickly, whereas a normal vaccine takes up to 10 years to develop and test and everything. In this case, there was a matter of extreme urgency because it was highly contagious and leading to a lot of deaths.
Right.
So they had to rush through. So
Mhm.
the vaccines that they have are designed against one particular protein,
Yeah.
and if that protein changes, then the vaccine doesn't work as well anymore, and
Yeah.
that's part of the
That's
problem.
part of the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now the world is inundated in Omicron, which is one of the variants for people who are still lagging behind. Um, for some reason, I'm hearing or feeling that people think this Omicron could herald the end of this pandemic. How do you see that?
Well, opinions differ, of course, everywhere, but the thing is, this Omicron variant is highly contagious, but less lethal than, say, the Delta or some of the other ones, and leads to
Death,
less severe complications, unless, of course, if the person has, yeah,
prior situations.
yeah, prior situations
Hmm.
like diabetes or problems with heart problems or
Hmm.
respiration, or there's a whole bunch of uh, medical conditions that make you more susceptible to getting a severe form of the disease. But this particular variant is less gives a less severe case of the disease to normally healthy people than the Delta does, for example.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
And
the
the
idea is then if it's like they tried in Sweden, it's what they call herd immunity. In other words, if enough people become immune, then the hope is that the virus will just move on to some other host or die out.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the fact that you're telling me it's less deadly, less lethal than the previous variants means that it's okay-ish now. Sorry about the sound in the background. This is Jamaica. Anything can happen here. They're gone. What was I saying? The fact that it's less lethal and less deadly than the previous variants would mean that it's okayer now for more people to get it
Well,
and build up
yes.
immunity.
Well, yes and no, because I mean, you can still be infected with Omicron even if you're vaccinated. It doesn't prevent you from being infected. It just
Exactly.
prevents you from developing a severe form.
Mhm.
But I wouldn't go out and try to get infected in hopes of getting immune. I mean, I had a very close friend of mine who was against vaccination, and he thought that by getting it he would get
He did.
immune, but he unfortunately passed away from the
He,
disease.
he
Yeah,
did.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
There's
He's
many
actually
more.
in that class picture that you showed earlier. Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Let's see if we can pull him up. Hold on. Where is that class picture of us, of you? Gosh, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I think it's this one. Uh-huh. Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
So,
he's right. He's on my left.
on your left.
Yeah,
Sammy.
Sammy, exactly. Yeah.
Sammy.
Oh, you knew him.
Oh, well, I remember his name and I
Yeah,
remember his face.
yeah,
So he passed on.
yeah. Just this past summer in July. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Wow. So if you as a scientist were to explain stuff to us, why we really need to do the stuff that we do, get tested and get vaccinated, and yeah, this is an allusion to the music we used to listen to. Remember that song? We used to dance
Yeah.
forever on that song.
Well,
The,
I have the vinyl on my wall here.
yeah,
Yeah,
Kim Crimson.
yeah.
What Epitaph? That
Yes,
that was a,
epitaph.
a, a
Yeah.
12-minute song, which was
It's
perfect for
actually
teenagers to
eight
dance
minutes
to.
and 38
Eight
seconds. But yeah,
8 minutes and 38 seconds.
yeah. I
Yeah,
memorized it because I used to dance a slow song to that. Yeah.
yeah. We even did a slow song to that. I don't know if you remember,
Yes.
but we
Yeah. Of
did.
course.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did. But back to because I don't know who added this nose swabbing to it, but what a fantastic idea. Back to what would you say to people, just in your own words? What would you tell people
Well,
to
I
do?
think people have to realize that scientists working with governments are doing their best, not believe things that seem absolutely outlandish or sensational, like, I don't know, taking a drop of extract from some plant is going to cure you or whatever, unless there's proof behind it. Be a little bit skeptical
Mm.
of that and trust scientists to do that. They're doing the best they can because they're faced with a virus that nobody had uh, expected or had experience with,
Mhm.
and
Well,
so
they did expect it, but they hadn't had experience with it.
yeah, well, okay, yeah,
There's
yeah,
there's plenty
yeah,
of politicians who were
yeah,
warning against an upcoming virus at some point.
yeah, yeah, but
Right.
not that particular one. But yeah,
No,
yeah,
not
I
that
agree. Yeah,
particular
yeah.
one. Okay.
So to trust the science, trust the medicine, and try as much as possible to do what's recommended.
But the naysayers will say the 1% of rich people in the world doubled their income over the last 2 years. Why is that? The naysayers will say, yeah, but Big Pharma and Bill Gates. And the
Yeah, yeah. Well, I
naysayers
know
will
that,
say
but
it's a
let's
plan to eradicate humanity.
yeah, but let's get real.
No,
If you look at
yeah.
no, I know, but I mean, if you look at the actual budget and how much money the big pharma makes,
Mm-hmm,
it still there's no comparison with the budget of a country. I mean, like a major country like in Europe or the Western world or anywhere else.
mm-hmm.
So it's very small compared to so they can't you can't expect that a pharmaceutical company with maybe a couple of $1 billion in revenue per year, it's going to influence the whole government of all the countries in the world. I mean, come on, it doesn't make sense. And even if it was the case, what are they gaining? The vaccine isn't sold very expensively.
No,
It's not a big deal.
no, but
Uh,
they do control who gets what. Let me run one thing by you. For
yeah.
example, uh, being here in Jamaica, I've seen it almost firsthand.
Hmm.
The UK sent vaccines to this island.
Hmm.
people who were fully vaccinated are treated as non-vaccinated when they go to England, because England then tells them, yeah, but we don't know who administered, and by the way, you got the wrong type of vaccine. What do you say about that?
I would disagree with the British that policy if that's indeed the case. For example, I can compare with, say, Tunisia. Tunisia received Chinese vaccine, Russian vaccine, AstraZeneca, and then Pfizer, Moderna, and all the others. Okay, but they've when people are vaccinated, they get a certificate that they've had vaccination, and the European Union has accepted the Tunisian vaccination pass as equivalent to the European one, so they can come to Europe and show that they've had the vaccinations in Tunisia, and it's fine. So they haven't had any issue like that.
Which you would expect for the entire globe to be the case.
Absolutely. So I don't know why Britain, maybe because Great Britain has had this several outbreaks that were a little more severe than in other countries, and I don't know. Maybe.
But we can't blame Jamaicans for that.
No, absolutely not. No, that's not fair. That's for sure.
Okay, I just wanted to run that by you.
Yeah. No, that's prejudice. I mean, it's
racism.
Yeah.
Don't put the P word where it's the R word, I would say. There's enough of that going around, isn't there?
Okay.
Quick look in the comment section. What's going on here? What are people saying? Karim says he said, I was expecting Tarek to be elaborating on France versus Tunisia, which you didn't, but that might have been my fault, Karim. Thank you for watching. Donna says, the rush in producing the vaccine is exactly what feeds into the resistance, which is what you were touching on, isn't it?
Well, it feeds into the resistance of what?
Well, resistance in countries like Jamaica, once again, who have been
resistance. Are you saying resistance against the vaccine?
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Well, yes, but what would you have them do? Wait 10 years to develop the vaccine and have everyone die? So it's a difficult question. They did the best they could in the time they had.
Yeah, and what do you say? The Cuban vaccine, which is ready and waiting, and that isn't allowed to be spread around. I know people here would want that one. I know people in South America would take that.
I'm not familiar with the Cuban vaccine. I know the Chinese and the Soviet ones, which in the beginning were not accepted in several Western countries, but they ended up being fine, and they were used in Tunisia successfully.
Right. Okay, well, let's hope for the Cuban to come, because at the beginning of the pandemic, many countries called in the Cubans to do the dirty work and to help them out. And now that Cuba has a vaccine, it's not allowed to be sold.
I unfortunately, I'm not familiar with that, but I'll look into it.
Please do, and let me know. That will be later. DJ Conscious, what does he say? They haven't submitted Yes, they have submitted it to the WHO. But the WHO hasn't responded yet. That's the situation.
I don't know what technology they're using. Is it like a?
It's the old-fashioned. It's not mRNA. It's an old-fashioned.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's
like
good. I personally was more for the old-fashioned. In fact, my first 2 shots were AstraZeneca.
I actually thought I'd take Astra at the beginning, but then the whole thing about women under 60 came up, and then I took Pfizer. Yeah,
I think you have to always look at the percentages, and I think a lot of things happen that aren't necessarily linked to the vaccine, but because it happens after the person was vaccinated, they see it as a cause to effect relationship, whereas it could simply not be. It could be coincidental.
Yeah, it could. Let's move on from COVID, because there's so much more that you have to tell us. And first of all, right here, this is you being something else than a scientist. First of all, we see you still dressing up. What's going through your mind on the left picture? What is that?
Well, I like movies, and I like. Ideally, I at one point going to be making movies.
Mm.
So my younger son is quite talented in making films and putting them together and stuff like that. And I like westerns. I'm crazy about western movies, and so I have all this western equipment, and I just thought I'd get dressed up and have my picture taken by my son. Yeah.
Yeah. Which movie are you reenacting there?
Oh,
Or not?
some of these, spaghetti westerns with Clint Eastwood,
Yeah. Yeah.
that type of,
Yeah. You used to do that at the beginning of the pandemic. Every day there was a picture of you reenacting some kind of movie.
Yes, well,
Uh,
that was because we were in lockdown,
yeah,
and you go a little bit stir crazy in the apartment here.
you
So
do,
we
you
we
do. So
we
you
do
have
all
to.
kinds of crazy stuff. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
exactly why I started doing stuff like I'm like this program, because you need something to live towards when you're closed up. Yeah. On the right, we see you wielding a camera, photography, Tarek.
yes. Well, actually, my friend Karim in the comments there, the one Karim Rad that talked
Yeah.
about France versus Tunisia, he's a photographer, and he's pushed me to buy more sophisticated equipment and stuff like that. And I've always liked taking pictures ever since I was young, since I don't know about the age 14 or so.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, so I don't do enough photography as I would like, because mostly I would like to do it while I'm traveling and stuff, but I haven't
Yeah.
traveled so much recently.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love to take pictures. Yeah.
So what kind of subject is it? Portraits or is it nature? What is
Um,
it like?
I like to do a little. If it's portraits, I usually just do friends and family. As where it's real photographers like Kareem will take interesting faces of people in the street and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I do a little bit of that, but not so much. Otherwise, I like macro photography, taking very close up pictures
Exactly.
of nature and
Right.
insects and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Uh, Again, coming back to the microscope and looking at details of things that you don't normally see. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Lovely. And in the middle, there you are, being a drummer.
Yeah, well, I'm a amateur drummer, but uh, I like keeping time and holding a beat and playing with friends, musicians, and so I've been playing since I was about 14. Also, different on and off, and sometimes 5-6 years go by and I don't play, and then I come back to it. And,
Mm.
at the moment, I have a drum set up in my bedroom.
You should have told me that. We would have asked you to do a little riff.
No,
No,
it's better with other people playing with you. Yeah,
it is,
yeah, yeah,
especially drums, and that's
yeah.
true. That's true. Um, you send me a clip of your prowess as a drummer in the
Yeah.
band called Louis and the Microbes.
Yes.
Who are those people?
So most of them are students or others. They're all scientists or colleagues from the Pasteur Institute. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay, so we're going to treat the world to this clip. I must stress the fact I did not film it, people. I have my professional image to hold up, but we're glad we have it. Here is Louis and the Microbes and the song Zombie. Yay! Yes, the video ended with a shot on the ground, so I had to cut it short.
Mm.
Yay to you, especially that little riff. When the chorus starts.
Well, thank you. Well, ever since I was at the Pester, so I wanted to do a concert at the Pester in this bringing rock and roll to the big hall where all the scientists give their famous talks. So kind of again the rebel aspect,
Yeah.
and it took a while to set up, but yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
But tell us honestly, if given half a chance, would you have rather become a musician?
Well, when I was around the age of 18, uh, I I really didn't know what I wanted to do, and so I was more interested in making movies and playing in bands than actually school. So kind of uh, I wouldn't say wasted, but I did a couple of years where what I was studying wasn't actually productive,
Mm.
and then I was thinking of going to showbiz and organizing rock concerts and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I dabbled in that a little bit, but in the end, I figured I was it was I, don't know, I wasn't good enough maybe at it to earn a living, and
Mm-hmm.
so I figured I was probably better at the science, and so I moved to science,
Yeah.
and
Was it
kept the
hard
rest
to
of
make that decision?
um was it hard? I think part of it was actually a little bit uh, made. No, I don't think it was hard. It was. I mean, sometimes I look back and I think, well, where would I be now if I
Yeah. Where would
did
you be
this? Or,
now?
yeah,
Where
yeah.
would you be now? Could be,
But
could be we were all buying tickets to go see, Louis and the Microbes.
I doubt it. But yeah.
But I know that you loved rock music. At least you did when we were young.
Oh, still, yeah.
But something tells me you know a little bit about reggae as well because you've been sending me these patois texts
Ah.
like King Jaguan and smoke up your spliff and thing.
Well, I was a big fan of Bob Marley. In fact, I have his biography up here,
Yeah.
and I told you the story before. I think about how I tried to organize a Bob Marley concert in Tunisia,
Mm-hmm.
um, which unfortunately it was. We were almost at the finish line, and that's when unfortunately he fell ill and passed away.
Yeah. Yeah.
We he was supposed to be on tour in Europe, and they figured he could jump over from Italy
Yeah.
to Tunisia. So I took a long time to set it up, and it was a lot of fun, but it didn't
Mm-hmm.
work out. Yeah,
It didn't work out.
yeah.
No, no, no. Too bad. I think I need to tell you that Leila is joining us. Hi, Leila. She says wash hands. That's on the topic of COVID still.
Oh, right.
A quick look. Annemieke is saying she's finally able to react. Interesting discussion. And what a nice contrast between your work and your hobby. Yeah, lovely, lovely.
Schizophrenic. Yeah.
Schizophrenic. And here is Ipanema 500. Do you know that person? Because they know Louis and the Microbes.
Oh, yes, I see who that is. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hi,
Yeah.
Ipanema. That's a great
Yeah.
name. Lovely beach in Brazil, Ipanema. I wonder if you're Brazilian. You're probably not. No.
No, actually, they're from the US, so they actually live on Ipanema Drive.
Right, right. And Leila says she thought she was clapping, but she actually said she put in another
Oh, right,
emoji.
right. Yeah.
And here's somebody else. I'm sure is from your posse, Alcantara, Agence Conseil en Communication.
Oh,
Media.
right. That's a high school friend of ours, Semi Kaya.
Oh,
Yeah.
Semi.
So he knows
Bonjour,
you.
Semi.
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely of you to watch. Great. So that's you and music. Who knows, Tarek, one must dream. There might come a time when you say, you know what, Pasteur Institute, great to put you on my bio, but it's time for music now.
Well, I would need a lot of practice.
Yeah. But okay, but you still play, even if it's only for fun.
Yeah, just like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And another thing that you do, and we see that on a weekly basis, on Sundays, at least on Sundays, we find you in the kitchen cooking up all kinds of fantastic meals.
Yeah, that's another passion of mine. Yeah.
You are so prolific in what you do. So much stuff going on.
Well, I have kids that like to eat and they like my cooking, so
Yeah.
I try to make them happy.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I
Uh,
also I like to cook for friends. Actually, I've been known to come to people's house with a suitcase full of ingredients
ingredients.
and cook for them. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I noticed there's a lot of meat going on, so that means you don't cook for me. Are you any gifted at doing vegetarian meals too?
I actually had a Canadian couple, school chum of mine, come over, and he's vegan, and she's not. So
Hmm.
I made special dishes for each of them. Yeah, yeah,
Okay, and do they look anything like what we see here? Because this looks absolutely yummy.
yeah. You can do. I mean, you can do any of those without the meat. It'll still come out nice. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm seeing merguez there. I use
Yes.
those little sausages. I used to
Yeah.
love those. What else do we see? I think we see lamb shank and
Yes. On the
and
right.
what's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
mm-hmm,
And the
and
other, I think, is a soup. I'm not quite sure, but yeah.
mm,
Yeah. Yeah.
something with little round noodles. I remember
Mm.
from. But you love cooking, and
Yes.
who taught you to cook?
It was out of necessity, pretty much, because I started, living. I think since I was 15 or 16, my mom was working, so I had to cook for my sisters,
Hmm.
and then when I lived alone, just cooked.
Yeah,
Right, I mean, I think mostly I cook because I don't want my kids to eat prepared foods or frozen foods or stuff like that. So
yeah.
they've never had anything out of a can or frozen or
Good
whatever.
for you.
Yeah,
Good for
yeah.
you. Your kids, do they still live with you now?
My two boys are with me. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Are they watching by any chance?
I'm not sure. I think my younger one in his room is watching. Yeah,
Yeah.
my older one's out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And you being somebody who never wants to get married again, of course, you had to. Hold on, with the bike coming by. Why do they pass by on Fridays? You never ever told me you're never going to get married again. So you need to be self sufficient.
Yes, of
Mm-hmm.
course. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I do
Uh,
everything pretty much.
yeah.
Yeah.
Leila says you're an amazing cook. Yes, Leila, from the pictures, he is. I'm just worried about the meat content, but that's just me.
Well, we can do it
Uh,
without. Yeah.
okay, that's the challenge. If ever I get to see you in Paris, you cook me a vegetarian meal. All right?
No problem.
Okay. So let's see what's up next. Yes, one more picture I'm going to show and share with the world. It's about you and loved ones in no particular order. You send me a picture of two pictures actually with people that you obviously love. Tell us
Mhm.
who they are.
So this is the first one is with my son Sammy,
Mm-hmm.
giving him a baby bottle.
Yeah, that's the eldest or the
Uh,
youngest?
that's the eldest boy, but the second
Second child.
sibling. Yeah,
Yes,
second
your
child. Right,
daughter is the eldest, right?
right,
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
yeah.
Ines.
Hmm.
And so it was just I thought it was funny because we both had sunglasses on,
Yeah.
and the other one is a friend from high school. I think you also knew her, Besma Mili.
Yes,
Yeah,
Besma.
and,
Yes,
and she lived not far from where you used to live.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. Maybe even
yeah.
in the same street.
I think in the same street, a little
Yes.
further up. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Was she in our class or what? Because
She's
I remember
actually
her.
a year younger. She was with my sister Layla, but we became very
Right,
close friends. Yeah,
right.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
and she's in France now as well. I
She
suspect.
lives in near Toulouse.
Need to lose.
Yeah.
So whenever you get a chance to go,
Well, that was we went down there in 2015. That's when I saw her last year. Well,
yeah,
actually, no, she's been up to see me a couple of times in Paris. Yeah, yeah.
has she? Yeah.
Actually, I cooked for her on this table. Yeah.
Mhm. All right, but no romance. No,
Not with her. No, no.
not
She's
with
like
her.
a sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, not with her. So yes, romance, but not with her.
I've had romances, yes,
You
but
know, romance sells. That's why I have to talk about these
yeah.
things. I know you don't want to go, but there is somebody in your life. I would hope for.
Not at the moment, actually.
No. Oh, okay.
There was up until last October,
Mm-hmm.
but I broke up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, maybe you're not the living together type. I know I can say that about myself.
I don't know. maybe when I was younger, yeah, I mean, I had
Mhm.
long-term relationships, but and I was married for about almost 30 years. So, but maybe now, as you know, with a little older, you get set in your ways, and that's a little more difficult. Yeah,
And
could be.
in my case, I just want to pack a suitcase and go, or I want to stay up late editing a movie, and that's very
Yeah, it's a
hard
little
when
bit
there's
about
somebody
freedom.
there.
Yeah, I think it is
It
part of that.
is.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah.
It is. Look at the time, Tarek. We've been talking for 5/4 of an hour, and I guess this is the part of the program where I tell people who's coming up next month, and that will be on the 25th of February, on the last Friday of the month, as usual. And I will then be talking to Kimberly Gobot, who is a wonderful poet and an activist. And I met her. I haven't actually met her, but we are online friends through, yet again, my wonderful friend Kabu Ma'at Karu, the journalist here in Jamaica that I've been following for over 30 years. And through Kabu and other stuff, I met Kimberly online, and she does wonderful work, and she has agreed to be my guest on February the 25th. So I'm looking forward to that. Anything that you would like to end with, Tarek? Anything that you feel the need to say, or to ask, or to whatever?
Well, I'm delighted to be back interacting with you, and I think your show is really cool, and I
Thanks.
would love to come to Jamaica. So that's in my
Well,
plans.
let's do that post-COVID, and if you can wait till then, it's a promise, because I know you'd love it here. It's the most beautiful countryside. I take you out. See, we'd have to go into the mountains, though. You'd have to
Yeah, no, I like
experience
mountains
that.
too. I mean, I do a lot on mountains as
Mhm.
well. It's just if I have to choose like between science and art or mountain and sea, I would choose the sea. But yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I'll drop you off at the beach and then go read a book myself, and then pick you up again,
yeah.
because you need some beach. But then I won't be joining you there. I'll be taking you to the inlands of this beautiful island, and making what made Bob Marley tick in the first place, and get into touch with a couple of Rasta friends of mine, talk about
Sounds
those
good.
things. Well, we'll be doing that. And what's next on your agenda? It's evening in France now, so not much today.
Well, cooking dinner and having dinner with my sons.
Yeah, good. What are you cooking today?
I'm still not sure yet. I have to
Not
see.
sure yet.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Before I let you go, Adrienne, my eldest sister, says, lovely to see you again. And your sister Leila says, great show. Nice to see you, Aldith and Tarek. So wonderful. Thank you all for watching. Tarek, I'm going to play out with something that is remotely linked to what you do, because I thought it was a cool video. And I know that you like to zoom in on the little stuff. So it's not molecular, it's cellular, what we'll be ending with. It's does that interest you in any way?
Yeah, I know the video actually.
You do.
Yes.
Boring.
No,
But
no, but
the other,
because you put it in the preview, I think.
I did.
Yeah.
Do you like the video?
I know it actually. I had shared it or commented on it at some
Did
point
you? Okay,
in the
good.
past, but yeah.
I'm glad about that. So that's how we're going to play out. As I tell all my guests, hang around in the orange room until I'm completely finished with the broadcast, and we'll round up then. For now, thank you so very, 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 very much for being my guest, Tarek. It was a long time
Thank you.
waiting, and we'll catch up properly in real life once travel is permitted again everywhere. Okay?
Okay.
You were a wonderful guest. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you. So
Bye.
that was Tarek, and yes, kisses back to you. Tarek is waiting for us in the orange room while I play out with this inner life of the cell, a video that I just happened to find online, and which I thought was pretty. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for your comments. Anything else? Last minute blessings to all from DJ Conscious. Thank you for that. Thank you all for watching. Watch us again next month on the 25th of February. Until then, be good, be nice, and stay safe. Bye-bye.